What if I told you that the way we understand liberalism, autonomy, and natural law could be fundamentally flawed? This is the point argued by a monumental influence on modern philosophy, the German thinker Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. Hegel, whose philosophies have left a lasting impression on presented a unique understanding of these complex concepts. His theories, offering a profound interpretation of standard liberal views, were not conventional. Hegel's philosophical perspective was groundbreaking for its time and continues to inspire thinkers today. His take on liberalism challenged established notions and provoked contemplation on the essence of personal freedom. Hegel's view on individual autonomy is particularly intriguing, as it questions the traditional understanding of self-governance and freedom. Additionally, his perception of the rule of law was distinctive, inviting a rethinking of the relationship between individuals, society, and the law. Hegel's criticisms of standard liberal strategies were insightful, causing a stir in philosophical circles and initiating debates that continue even in contemporary times. His philosophy is a complex maze loaded with profound insights that challenge our understanding of fundamental concepts. Let's embark on a journey through Hegel's philosophical landscape, examining his perspective on liberalism, individual autonomy, the rule of law, and his criticisms of standard liberal strategies. Liberalism, in its modern form, is championed by two significant principles: the concept of individual autonomy and the rule of justice. These two principles are the fundamental pillars that contribute to the philosophy of modern liberalism. The first principle, individual autonomy, posits that each person should actively participate in societal life, having a role to play and a voice to be heard in shaping society's norms and values. It gives weight to the idea that every person's voice matters, and that everyone should have the freedom and right to engage and contribute to societal matters, irrespective of their social standing or background. The second principle, the rule of justice, proposes that laws must adhere to specific standards to be deemed good or just. It suggests that there must be a universally accepted moral or framework guiding the design and enforcement of laws. It underlines the need for fairness, impartiality, and equality in both the creation and application of laws. This principle asserts that justice shouldn't be a concept limited to the courtroom, but must be a fundamental aspect of societal life, permeating every corner and aspect of our lives. The true challenge, however, lies in harmonizing these two principles and creating a perfect equilibrium between autonomous individuals and objective justice standards. This task is not as straightforward as it may seem, as there are several theories and strategies to explain this relationship. One suggests that the collective will is a sum of individual wills, each contributing to the overall direction of society. Another purports that correct policy is detached individual wills, waiting for discovery, independent and unaffected by the personal beliefs and biases of individuals. The third, a collective strategy, postulates a general will that is neither a mere function of individual wills, nor a reflection of some pre-existing correct principle. One philosopher who championed this approach was Hegel. He favored a collective approach to liberalism. He believed in the crucial role of individuals in shaping the content of law, maintaining and modifying social practices as needed to ensure their freedom and individual ends. These social practices, according to Hegel, form the appropriate basis and content for statutory law. Hegel rejected two common liberal strategies for justifying normative principles. This was not something he did lightly or without thought. Rather, he engaged deeply with these two strategies, analyzing them with a critical eye. The two strategies in question, one that appeals to conscience and the other to natural law rights, were prevalent in the philosophical discourse of the time. In these strategies, both relied heavily on a notion called self-evidence, as a means to justify a claim or a guiding principle. The idea of self-evidence is one that assumes that the truth of a claim or principle is obvious or inherent, needing no external justification. It posits that the truth is inherent in the claim or principle itself, and thus is self-evident. But it was this very idea of self-evidence that Hegel took issue with. He disputed it vehemently, and for two primary reasons. His first argument against the concept of self-evidence was a subtle but crucial one. He argued that theories of self-evidence often confuse or fail to distinguish between being certain that something is true and thus believing it, and something's being true and thus being certain of it. This is an important distinction, for the belief in something does not necessarily make it true, And conversely, just because something is true does not mean that one would necessarily believe in it. Secondly, Hegel noted that the claims justified by appeals to conscience or natural law are diverse and even mutually incompatible. That is, a claim justified by an appeal to conscience could very well contradict a claim justified by an appeal to natural law or rights. The logical implication of this is that any mode of justification that can warrant a claim and its contradiction fails to meet the basic requirement of sorting justified from unjustified claims. Despite his powerful critique, Hegel was not rejecting the notion of natural law entirely. He maintained, however, that while he fundamentally disagreed with standard approaches to determining the content of natural law, he still upheld a basic principle of law. The principle that Hegel upheld was one that placed the freedom of the individual will at its core. He believed that right is fundamentally a function of the freedom of the individual will. This principle is fundamental to his argument. Hegel's views are a testament to his intellectual prowess and his willingness to challenge prevailing norms. A giant in the realm of philosophy, his thoughts were insightful and groundbreaking. He was never one to shy away from controversy, often pushing the boundaries of societal views. His perspectives on liberalism were bold, asserting individual freedom as paramount. Unafraid to question, Hegel argued for the importance of individual autonomy, redefining societal understanding. Additionally, his interpretations of the rule of law transformed legal discourse. His dialogues serve as a reminder that philosophical questioning and critique remain crucial for societal evolution.